There is more wisdom in a bottle of wine than in any book. This was said by Louis Pasteur, a famous French physicist, biologist, and chemist. Visiting the wine store of Cave de Ribeauvillé is somewhat like browsing the books of an ancient library, rich in surprises, in emotions, in culture. Here, the secrets conceal years of labor, thousands of hours devoted to the vineyard, to winemaking, to the wine. For the wine growers of Cave de Ribeauvillé, the vintage starts by the pruning. During dormancy, from December till March, the grape grower leaves 1 or 2 shoots on each vine plant. As from mid-February, the archaea and its bonding stimulate the growth of buds, as well as the harmonious distribution along a vertical layout. Trellising, trimming, topping, and thinning out leaves may designate both technical and poetical notions, but they are above all necessary actions to increase sunshine and ventilation in between the vines. By doing so, the vine grower also becomes the surveyor, even the architect of the surroundings of the vineyard. In Alsace, the vineyards are planted with an almost mathematical precision. The geometry of the parcels is well organized and designs harmonious lines, thus enhancing a well-preserved regional patrimony. Part of the 260 hectares of vineyards of Cave de Ribeauvillé is cultivated following organic guidelines. Harvest dates are determined according to the maturity of each single parcel. Harvest is spread out over a long period, typically from mid-September until the end of October. But no matter the sacrifices, the quality of the grapes is paramount. Weather conditions are sometimes adverse, and harvest is programmed according to each varietal's development of maturity. At Cave de Ribeauvillé, the entire harvest is conducted manually. This is a deliberate choice, a guarantee for quality. No effort is spared to get the best out of the grape, to collect and transport it to the press intact so it can liberate its juice during a slow and gentle process. The winemaking is no different, with a static settling of the must in order to leave the unfermented juice the time to decant calmly. It will then ferment at its own rhythm during several weeks or several months. Thanks to the experience of the winemaker Evelyn Dondlinger, interventions adapted to sustainable culture permit the best imaginable expression of terroir in our wines. An important proportion of winemaking is conducted in wooden casks. Frequent tastings associating the wine growers permit to appreciate the evolution of the wines. The bottling at Cave de Ribeauvillé may be a fully automated operation. It always remains a delicate moment. The great wines of Alsace continue and finish their maturation on bottle. On the bottling chain, the bottles are rinsed, filled, corked, capped, and finally receive their label. The packaging must be outstanding and impeccable. A robot builds yellow and black pallets, typical colors for the cases which will travel around the world. The bottling of Crémant d'Alsace is always a spectacular operation. During fermentation, sugar and yeast have brought about the effervescence inside the bottle. After a year of fermentation and ripening, the riddling starts. Deposit which is accumulated in the bottle is being removed during an operation called disgorging. After inclination, the bottleneck is being cooled down very quickly and the frozen deposit ejected. The bottles are then refilled, corked and capped. All these operations, both original and monitored by modern technology, remind us that Cave de Ribeauvillé can boast a long tradition and history. First created in 1895, Cave de Ribeauvillé was the first cooperative cellar founded in France. At the time, a few visionary grape growers have created a benchmark in the very heart of Alsace. The various phases of its evolution and construction have made Cave de Ribeauvillé a unique site in Alsace, dedicated to grape growing and to winemaking. Its museum will permit you to understand the local charm and secrets. Cave de Ribeauvillé enrolls in the history of Alsatian viticulture. The famous Clos du Zanacaire goes back to the Middle Ages. With its well-exposed southeastern orientation, this small parcel of 1.24 hectares is, ever since its origins, a co-plantation of 3 varietals: Riesling, Pinot Gris and Gewürztraminer. As a consequence, each year it gives birth to an exceptional wine, unique in Alsace. The Clos du Zanacaire is situated in the heart of the Grand Cru Osterberg. The vineyards of Cave de Ribeauvillé are located on a geological fault line with a subsoil of incredible variety and richness. It gives rise to a multitude of single vineyards, each with their own features. The cave possesses parcels in 8 Grand Crus of Alsace: Glöckelberg, Altenberg de Bergheim, Osterberg, Kirchberg de Ribeauvillé, Rosacer, Schönenburg, Schlossberg and Markrein. The clients and amateurs of Alsace wines will find these Grand Crus, wines from single vineyards, old vines and others at our wine store at Cave de Ribeauvillé. Although, like all major producers in Alsace, it sells its wines to professional customers in France and in the rest of the world, Cave de Ribeauvillé is one of the rare producers to sell an important part of its production on-site to private customers. Recently, a space has been dedicated to reception of groups. In the same room, the board of directors gathers frequently to decide upon the company policy. Cave de Ribeauvillé is well situated along the Route des Vins d'Alsace. It regularly organises events, allying artists, tourists and locals around a glass of Alsace. Among these anniversaries is the Rallye des Grands Crus, which permits near 1,000 of walkers to discover the landscapes of Alsace by walking their way through all the Grands Crus of Ribeauvillé and its neighbour communities. These images have given you but a few secrets of the elaboration of the fine wines of Alsace. May each tasting of these wines become for you a moment of emotions, a sensory experience. Certain among you will find aromas of fresh herbs, of spices, of dried apricots. For all, these are wines with incredible richness and with exceptional aromatic expression. They evoke years of expertise, of tradition, and simply of love.